Hello, all of you folks of fans of beer, suds and spirits. Welcome to Tuesday Tavern. Going to throw out a couple of beer topics, and we each have a beer here to drink and give a little bit of review of. But my name is William, and I've done quite a few hangouts over the last few years, beginning in November of 2016 when I did a dual review with Jay Terrio here, Ronald J. Terrio. I
Hello.
had an Ice House Edge, and he sort of set that up on like spontaneously. And here I am sitting in front of what I thought looked like a TV screen. I said, "What the hell am I doing?" But I enjoyed it, and so yeah, I've been off and on over the past few years. But today I sort of feel like a member of a successful rock band, but I'm doing a solo album.
Right.
And that can go both ways. Maybe
Could
Phil
be like
Collins with Genesis, but then again, it might be Roger Waters with Pink Floyd. You know, he goes out on his own. He does a solo album. He's playing small clubs while his four bandmates are selling out stadiums, singing songs that he wrote. So but I hope I fall into the former category.
right. We hope it's not like the Kiss solo albums.
All
All right.
four, I remember when they first came out.
Sure. Who can
Although
forget?
Ace Frehley did have a hit with the New York Groove. I'm back in the New York Groove.
That's right.
Okay. One thing I mentioned about was the try to toss around a couple of beer topics you might come up during discussions, sitting around the bar or something like that. And the first one I wanted to bring up was the taxation of beer in the United States. Something that many drinkers may not think about, but it's important deal. And just how long have we been paying taxes on beers? How does it compare to other countries? But myself being a big history buff, uh, I enjoy history, particularly the Civil War period. And sometimes when history intersects with beer or alcohol, that really gets my interest up. And something I learned here recently that that the beer laws in America derived from the Civil War period, 1863. The brewers in the North, the patriotic people they were more than willing to cough up some taxation money for the North to cause the Union. So they gave $1 per barrel of beer that they brewed. Not only were they diligent in giving their share of taxation, they even helped collect the taxes.
There wasn't much of a brewing industry in the southern states, so that wouldn't have played a factor, really.
But it's many things. But the twist was once the beer ended, this supposed temporary tax was still in place.
Right.
That's familiar.
It sounds very familiar.
So they by this time they had assembled the United States Brewers Association. So they said we have to do something about this. So they got a delegation and went to Europe to see how Europe handled their taxes. But rather than clarifying the situation, it just created a lot of sort of disarray because they found out that it was a jumble of different things in Europe. Nothing really meshed, coincided. So they came back and proposed to the United States government the same the barrel system. You pay by the barrel of what's produced for consumer consumption. Interestingly, the employees at the breweries were not taxed because they drank it on premises. But it was and that system is still in place today. From more than 150 years ago, the same system. It's different in other countries. It's as varied as it is ways they find to tax things. But you'll notice that anytime the government finds a product that the American people generally like, they will find a way to tax it, if not ban it. And that happens with alcohol.
Yeah.
That's the story. The So you can blame the damn Northerners, the Yankees, for beer
I
taxes.
often do. I often do.
But so that's the that's the gist of that. And something else that's caught my attention lately is the this category, the flavored malt beverages. This the White Claw, this hard seltzer, the
Now,
sales are just astronomical on this
let me
product.
interrupt for just a moment. Let me interrupt for
Okay,
just a moment. What is your channel name actually? Because I'm trying to look it up on YouTube.
what's the ABV? Question mark. Simple to
That's the name
remember.
of
What's the ABV? That's one of the first things people, when you talk about beer, that comes up. So it's sort of like a catchphrase, but I thought that was simple to remember and just simple. That's but on the FMBs, this White Claw, the hard seltzers, in
it.
2019 they grew at a rate of 250 to 300%. And there was a newspaper headline article in the Daily Beast last fall that said, "What? How the hell is White Claw hard seltzer outselling Budweiser?" So it's reached a crazed status by now, but it's just one of many in this category of flavored malt beverages.
I've been wondering if it's going to sustain. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, but young people, they have no perspective about alcohol. They don't, like Budweiser means nothing to them, the king of beers. They want what's trendy, what's new, what's hip, and so they've appealed to the young to the young customer. But I did a little bit of reading about the what actually is a flavored malt beverage. It has to start with a malt base of at least 25%, and of that malt base, they have to get 51% of the alcohol. That's by law. The other 49% can be used for the flavoring alcohol. So that's a. But during this process, they remove all the flavor, color of beer. They just take the beer and they take the character out of it. What is left is just a neutral
Right.
alcohol.
Now hold on a second. Now I'm not going to try and keep interrupting. I'm drinking the Old English, and
Okay.
I'm enjoying mine, and I know Michael has that good night, and that's a good one. That's a good ale. It's named after some man actually, and that's an enjoyable product to sip while you're listening to all of this. And I like listening to all this. You know, my channel is about
Good night.
I'll
finish this and we'll get to the beers.
Yeah, it's a pun in a way. The name of Good Night is a sort of a pun.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was doing a lot of reading about those flavored beverages, and some of them are not malt. They're beers made from sugar. But okay, back to you.
And then once you have this basically just a base, they can add, usually they add high fructose corn syrup, then the flavor that they want to put into it. And that's how you arrive at that product. And one advantage that the brewers like about this is that the taxation on these products is much less than spirits or wine.
Yeah.
Plus, the availability of these products, convenience stores, everywhere, you still have to consider there are 17 states that have state-controlled liquor stores. And like for a 21-year-old person, they can grab these Alco Pops, these malt beverages, at the gas station when they're filling the car up. The availability of these, and if you go into like a 7-Eleven or these places, a Sheetz, and look at the beer cooler, there's as many of these products as there is beer nowadays.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that.
You got your Smirnoff Ice, Mike's Hard Lemonade, Twisted Tea, blah, 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 blah. But all of these products, fall in this flavored malt beverage category. And recently, I've watched some reviews of the Pabst hard coffee.
I've got one in the fridge.
I see people review it. They're looking at, well, is it a beer? Ain't it a beer? It's a beer. It's a beer. There's no
matter what Pabst says on their website, that's not the important part. you and I know this. The important point is, what does the disclosure say on the label?
Right. Whatever your eyes may tell you or your palate may tell you, it's a beer. There's no other category in the government, the Tax and Trade Bureau or the Federal Code of Regulation. There's nowhere else for it to go. By default, it's a beer.
And I was dropping your name this morning, if you don't mind, when I was doing a video about labeling. No, I did a taste challenge with whiskey, and I was saying how it's not your opinion about what the label is that matters. It's the law that matters.
Right.
And I talked about how you got a car from Ford, not based on what you thought needed to be done, but what the law said needed to be done.
I had to have the law on my side because they've got a hell of a lot more people a lot smarter than I am. But I did have the law on my side, and this is one case where the law actually worked. But these, interestingly, in other countries, they can use a neutral grain spirit like Canada, because there's no tax advantages for doing what we have in the United States. But some of these like they even call the one I have tonight, this Brass Bull, they call that a malt liquor. When I think malt liquor, I think of a finished beer product. And a legal mind could argue that is definitely not only is it not a beer, it doesn't even have the characteristics of a beer, which has been taken out. So
right.
you get into semantics and everything, but the bottom line is all these products fall under that umbrella of a beer because there's really nowhere else for it to go, regardless of what you might think personally or anything like that. It's just the malt base, all they want to do is derive alcohol from it. Or on the spirit side, they use the neutral grain spirits to make these products like 99 brand. A 99
yeah, I've talked about
banana.
Yeah, I've talked about that in my videos, how they just want an odorless, colorless base, and they build the flavors on that.
And on the beer side, it's the malt.
Right.
On the spirit side, they use the neutral grain spirits. And through distillation processes over and over, the ultimate goal is to reach a pure alcohol. That's all they want. And
William, you know who had the best explanation for that process? Or if people are in Canada, that process? Oh, and do me a favor. Sometime tonight, put the link for your channel in Beer Talk, because I was having trouble finding it. And then we can help grow it, you know. But the entity that had the best explanation of what you're discussing was Trader Joe's, of all people. They had an article on there. Yeah, they had an article on there, what they call a fearless flyer, kind of their online newspaper, and explained in detail exactly what you're talking about. And I said, you never would have expected Trader Joe's to have the best explanation.
One of the thoughts that popped in my mind about the taxation, in effect, we're a little lucky. In Britain and England, taxes began in 1266 under Henry III. So the Brits have been paying tax on beer for a long, long time in the old country.
Yeah, and it's gotten worse in the last 20 years when they started taxing beers that were above 4.9%, an exorbitant rate. So we don't have that problem in Louisiana. We get beers that'll be 15.2%. They'll have no higher tax rate than a 3.8.
Louisiana has the most lenient beer laws in the country. That's one thing I think you can say without much opposition.
Yeah, that is certainly true.
On the flavored malt beverages, there was a time to where the manufacturers had a loophole. There was no cap on how much of the flavor additives could be put into the product. So what they would do, they would take citric acid, dilute it with ethanol to the point it was only like 10%. Then it was considered unpotable, not potable. Then it became no longer ethanol, but it was a flavoring additive. So they could pile that in. A lot cheaper to do.
But not now.
I've got let me add Shane here.
Okay. Well, I'm drinking this Old English, and all I'll say about it is it's fine for a regular old beer. It's nothing to get excited about. But for $1.99, I can't complain. There's
Hi,
Shane.
Shane.
Hey, Shane from Arkansas.
How are you guys?
But anyway, eventually the Tax and Trade Bureau wised up on that, and they put in the law that 49% of a flavored malt beverage alcohol had to come from the additives. So that closed that up. But at one time they were, citric acid was considered a flavor additive, not alcohol. But that closed that up. So every party has to come to an end. But I think we've covered a couple of roundtable topics here. So we'll get to the actual beers and start with Jay has the Old English 800. This is the regular 5.9 version, right?
Yes. I'm hearing some background noise.
Is it coming from mine?
I think it might be coming from Shane, but if he mutes himself and it goes away, then we'll know it's not from him. Yeah, it went away. So Shane must be having some kind of like what you call it, like a feedback issue. I don't know a lot about music, but he can probably get that fixed. We got Shane from Arkansas. We got Jack Straw from Wichita. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Some people know what that reference is about. Anyway, well, this, like I said, this is nothing to get excited about, but it's on the other hand, and I've talked about this so many times in my videos, for good or ill. Some people get enraged about it. I don't know why you would get angry about a beer, but some people do in their heart, I guess. Said with this kind of beer, they get excited about, run out. On the other hand, it's nothing to go berserk over and downgrade to like it's filth, garbage, trash, unbearable, refuse. It's not. It's an okay American adjunct lager is what it is. Now, I mean, I know Michael Komaroff doesn't care to drink those, but Michael Komaroff is like the reasonable people that I talk to on the internet he's not interested in drinking it. Okay, fine. But he doesn't make a big production out of it and go on like some life mission to convince people not to drink this. I've talked about that, how people are on some kind of great quest. And I've said that about my channel. I'm not on a quest. There's no end game. There's no great goal. So if you can look at it in that perspective, it's fine. Although you have to consider that you're not under any obligation to enjoy it either. If you don't like it, just don't buy it. It's really not that difficult. I don't know why people make it out to be difficult. It isn't. I don't like butter beans, so I don't buy them. No problem.
There's a negative connotation with a lot of these malt liquors. Basically, what it is an amped up American adjunct lager. Is all it is.
In Europe, it would be called a strong lager.
That's all it is. And the Old English, it seemed like for many years the Schlitz Blue Bull and Colt 45 carried the torch for malt liquor. But then in the 90s, with the meshing of rap and malt liquor, and then it became it skyrocketed.
Yeah, with Boys in the Hood and movies like that, Colors.
And, at that time, Old English had like a 35% market share. They were huge in the early to mid 90s. They were featured in rap videos, and they dominated the market. And St. Ives was another big one during that period. But okay.
How does the Old English compare with Hurricane malt liquor?
Well, now you have to remember, folks. Much like what Old English is, variants. There's an Old English 5.9, which is what most of America gets. If you go to Texas and parts of Mississippi and some other isolated areas, there's Old English High Gravity, which came out 19 years ago. That's 8%, not common. That would be a Hella Stoppelbach in Europe. If you go to the West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington, there's an Old English 7.5%. And from what I understand, that's always been the case for some inexplicable reason. On the West Coast, it's 7.5%, and the rest of the USA, it's 5.9 to 6. If you go to Canada, it's 8%. It's always been 8%. Okay. Hurricane is the very rare 6%, which is almost unheard of these days, but it's still in production.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I've got it. I bought it around here. I call it the Black Label. And then there's then there's the Hurricane High Gravity, which is the common one that's sold all across the U.S. 8.1. Well, Michael didn't ask for this long exposition. It's a lot milder than the Hurricane High Gravity because it's 5.9. The Hurricane High Gravity it can make you jump back. It's so strong, and lagers have a hard time hiding high alcohol. You get an ale. Like, I'll give it a perfect example. This morning I drank St. Arnold Commitment Imperial Stout, 13.4% alcohol. You could drink that and you'd never really realize that it's 13.4 until you realize later you wrote stuff on the internet you didn't remember writing. But, that kind of thing. But this, if you take a lager like this and you make it 13.4, you can't bear to drink it. It can't hide the alcohol. And this thing is fine, 5.9. But when you get up to 8.1 and above with a lager, woo, it can be a real challenge. So there's a long answer to a short question, Michael, but I think I explained it. And here's the label for the Hurricane 6%.
I've never seen the Hurricane 6%.
Never.
I've only seen the high gravity one.
This is the rare one. I can buy it in some isolated locations. But I think 6% is the tipping point. If you're at 6.0 and below, it's fine. You get a lager and you get above 6. Now, Founders did a great job with the DKML, that barrel-aged, what was it, 15%?
14, 15, something like that.
Yeah, 15%. A knockout. If you drank that thing, you'd be in some other world. But it was a wonderful flavor. It was and they sold it as a gravity malt liquor. They were being cheeky about it, DKML, and they were feeding into that. It was a great beer, I thought. And I don't know how they masked the alcohol without it being just totally off-putting or something, but that was an interesting product from about 4 years ago.
I have one I'm cellaring. We'll see how.
But it's so
turns
expensive,
out.
Yeah, it's so expensive, Michael. You couldn't mass produce something like that. No one's going to go to the corner store and buy a malt liquor for $9 a 42 ounce. You know what I mean? So it's just not plausible or feasible. But these things, like I'm drinking, they churn them out like, it's routine. And for a routine run-of-the-mill product, I've been enjoying it. $1.99 a 42 ounce. I can't complain. Shucks.
Okay,
That's all I got to say.
now we go to Michael with good night.
Okay.
It is a good
Good
night.
night.
Since you weren't here when we first came on, I have Oscar Blues G Night, which is an Imperial Red Ale at 8.7% alcohol and 60 IBUs. So it's a heavy hitter. This one was produced 12/12/19, which means it has a little over 3 months on it, which should be fine. It had a much bigger head when I poured it, but as you see, it's got like now just a very small, compact, off-white head, and the lacing is okay. It's coming back, but you see the lacing on the side, so it's attached pretty well. And the color is this kind of nice, like orange reddish color, clear. And this, I don't know if you can tell in this, if you can see the carbonation, but there are bubbles floating up through the middle.
I can't see the carbonation, but I think the beer is very impressive looking.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you the nose on it. Okay, the nose is kind of like a combination of pine and resin together, so it's a strong aroma, and you can't smell the alcohol, but you could tell from the smell that it's not a session beer. You know what I mean? In other words, it's not alcohol coming at you, but the feel you're getting from smelling it, you can tell it's not a session beer. Let me take a sip. Okay, it's really the taste follows the nose. You're getting like a really strong dankness on the taste. You can taste the pine. You can taste the resin. The alcohol is very well masked, but as I said with the smell, you can taste that it's not 5%, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It's easy drinking. It could be dangerous if you're not careful. You wouldn't want to be having more than a couple of these, I wouldn't think. I mean, it depends on who you are, I guess, but I'm only going to have one, but you wouldn't want to have more than maybe two if you're doing it over a long period of time. I will have a number for you in a while. Let the other people go.
Yeah, that has a nice appearance. That one's almost bordering on a copper.
It's got very nice.
Yeah. Copper, yeah. Yeah.
Usually a dark one indicates a nice malt presence. What about the maltiness of that beer?
It's very malty.
Sometimes.
Hey, William, before I go off the air tonight, if you remind me, I'll show you a rum that I tasted today.
Oh, rum. I started getting into the rums a little bit. And,
yeah, it was a no loss situation. I couldn't lose on this. It was like Scarface at 10-5. You can't lose. I couldn't lose. So, but anyway, all right.
Okay, we have a recent addition here, Ronnie Rio from the great state of Florida, Gator Country.
Yep.
So, what do you have to drink tonight?
All right, I picked up a 6-pack of a Wicked Weed Brewing. It's cherry lime burst. It's a session sour. 4.5% ABV. Best Buy 5/13/20. I'm just pouring it now. It's a little expensive. Ron wouldn't like this. It was a 6-pack for $12.99. Kind of up there.
I wouldn't mind getting a single, but that's a little high.
Yeah, so it's a red color.
That's not too bad of a price, really.
It's got the smell of the fruity smell. So it says it's a burst is an exploration of fruit flavor. Vibrant colors, fresh fruit, and quenching tartness makes the session sour a vivid new beer experience. So like you're definitely picking up the fruits. I can't really say which ones. I'm not sure. Maybe like some kind of tropical. I mean, it says it's a key lime burst, cherry key lime burst. Maybe there's a bit of cherry in there.
Where'd you buy that?
Publix.
Yeah, I've gotten some good deals at Publix, I have to admit.
You can. Yeah, you can.
One man's sour is another man's tart. Would you think that's
Yeah.
a tart or a sour, just based on your impressions?
I'd probably say it's tart. Most of the time, I don't think sours are really that sour.
No.
That's why I like them. And they're usually pretty light, so it's a nice like weekday beer.
You know, it's interesting how people use different descriptors to when they review these beers. It's all in the words. You know,
yeah, my words probably aren't that good.
It's I think of more as a tartness rather than a sour. And
I would agree. That's a good point.
And it's the bottom line is with many of these products, we're describing things that are not actually in them, like with whiskey.
Right.
One man's toffee, another man's caramel.
Because of artificial flavoring, you mean?
No, it's because we're describing things that are not in the product.
Right. Like we'll say vanilla, but there's no vanilla in most of the whiskeys.
Absolutely.
Or bread too, right?
But
Bread.
Like bread crust flavor.
these are all descriptors of things that we perceive through our taste buds. And like I say, one person's toffee, and another's butterscotch.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you like sours, William?
not my favorite style, but I will drink a gose occasionally. But it's
Yeah,
not
I like goses too.
Gose. It's I tend more toward the lager side, really, with the malty beers, pretty much. So, although I do like I like the Foothills Hopium, which Michael had recently. He should try the Sing Double. That's a good one.
I have a pretty wide range. I mean, I can go from like here to like over here. You know, I like to drink beers, but like I said, this is a good like Tuesday night beer.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed. I agree with what you two are saying about sour beers. They're not really sour. It's like people are misunderstanding what they're drinking. What they're really drinking is a tart beer.
Mm-hmm.
They're drinking tart, and they think it's sour. But it's the things.
Well, it's called sour,
But,
so that's. I guess they don't want to call it tart.
Yeah,
style.
but it's not. Yeah, if it's not really, in most cases, like y'all are saying, it's not really that sour. It's just tart.
Yeah, I don't think I would like it if it was more sour.
Yeah, oftentimes sweet, like a sweet tart, candy, sweet tart. Get it?
When I think of sour, I think of something like puckering. You're going to make a face when you drink it.
Yeah,
and they're almost never like that.
No.
But like it's all in the.
Because it's almost like they have to balance it, because if it's that sour, it's going to be objectionable.
Yeah, you're not going to like it.
And if you're going to be puckering, you're going to be saying.
I would like to try one that really is sour. You know, I think I got one from the brewery 6 years ago that was sort of like that. The guy was like, "I'll send it to you, but you're not going to like it because it's really intense." I said, "No, that's going to make me like it even more." But he sent it to me, and then that started.
Grab my Schlitz Brass Bull out of the bullpen if I don't.
Okay, yeah.
And it's only easy right now for me to pour it in the kitchen, and I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
William's about to bring in that item.
So I joined a little bit late. Did you guys do like what he was talking about like beer taxes and stuff?
That's how William started it. Gave us like
he was talking about the history of beer taxes.
Yeah, it's really why I wanted to join. It sounded like a cool topic.
Yeah, he was talking about how it started during the war between the states, and how they said it was a temporary tax, but it's still being done today, because you know how they always say it's temporary, but it never goes away.
Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't know much about it.
I didn't know it started in the Civil War, but I realized that at least here in New York State, you've always been taxed, as far as I.
Did you know the first income tax was during the Civil War?
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, that I did know. I knew something about the beer thing, but I didn't pay much mind. I'll be back. I'm gonna go get, and I'm gonna get a little bit more beer. A lot. Drink too much. I'll show you this rum that you'll.
Are you affected at all by the coronavirus in Florida, or is it?
Yeah, actually, I had the boss brought us all new monitors to bring home to work from home if we have to, because tomorrow I think there's going to be a vote in the county on whether they're gonna only have essential workers working.
Right, because already in New York where
I know New York is in bad shape,
and it's the worst place in the country.
On the tax rate, it started in 1863. On the northern side, the Yankees, the brewers were wanting to contribute to the war effort, so they were paying $1 per barrel of beer.
You guys hear me at all?
Yes, you're fine.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine, Shane.
Problem with
No,
that
I was inside and the washing machine was running, so it might have been causing feedback. But I live close to a car wash, so the air dryer's outside, so I can't escape noise. Dogs in the house barking. Neighbors' dogs are barking. I mean, this is like all I need is a freight train to come by. Like
me with the Kansas City Southern Railroad.
Sometimes they take a breath to say word, and then they go, "Wah!"
That's what you get when you go outside.
Now what? Exactly.
8.2%. A lot of carbonation. With all these products, the head goes away quicker. The head does a disappearing act immediately. But
I'm not able to hear again.
Not surprisingly, a lot of peach on the nose.
Now, is that a concoction beer you made, or is that an actual product called Schlitz Brass Bull?
It's a flavored malt beverage, just like the Steel Reserve Alloy series.
I can't hear William.
It's the same thing.
Oh.
Can you hear us, Shane?
They call
I can hear you, Ronnie, and I can hear Jay.
William has a lower voice. William, can you talk a little louder?
Okay.
Well, you might have to Shane because he can't hear you, and he's overpowering your presentation, unfortunately.
I'll take a sip of this wonderful concoction.
Okay, peach note.
I gotta look for that thing.
Shane will be back.
He's having some major audio breakdowns. Sorry. Boy, William, if I see that product, I'll lose my mind because I ain't even seen the regular Schlitz malt liquor in 5 years.
So, William, you can get a lot of different types of beers over where you are, right?
Yeah, pretty good selection. I'm pretty fortunate here in North Carolina.
That's pretty cool. I know you have the red dog there, right?
I had to go. I didn't get the red dog here, but we get the Colt 45 double malt. I get the Old Milwaukee Ice. I get the Country Club malt liquor.
The only time I had the Old Milwaukee Ice was when I was in North Carolina. I was stopping by, so I think that's kind of a hot spot for it.
Yeah. Thanks for making me feel worse than I was feeling, William.
Same way, there are pockets of state where the Colt 45 double malt is very popular, and then I mentioned the old. Until recently, we got the Mickey's Ice. I could get in 1 mile where I lived, and recently they've discontinued.
So what do you think it is with North Carolina and getting all these like miscellaneous beers?
It's middle ground. It's a middle ground.
And the population growth here has been like Charlotte's growing at a 19.2% rate. They're going to be 1 million people it's just growing as a state. Wasn't that long ago that North Carolina was in the 22nd in population among the 50. Now we're in the top 10.
Yeah, but you can't even get a lot of those beers in New York.
But I'm saying it's a similar location,
And what's funny, Ronnie, because of my cousin and my nephew, right now I have the largest selection of North Carolina beers I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah,
my cousin sent me a box full, and it's gonna take me a month and a half to drink all of it.
Yeah.
Nice. If you're quarantined for that long, it would be okay.
It wouldn't be that easy to get it.
Hey, William, you getting a lot of peach on that flavor?
It's all peach.
It's all peach.
It's all peach. I've heard people say, well, I don't taste any beer. Well, just as I explained earlier, there's no beer in it. They removed the malt character from it. So they're trying to taste something that's not there. But once it's like you don't expect that. It's just a malt alcohol base along with the high fructose corn syrup, then the peach flavoring. This is an alcohol pop. This is for people who want to get the effects of alcohol, but they don't like alcohol.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Find exactly what it's for. It's an alcohol delivery system, which you can get at your convenience store when you're getting a gas or a pack of cigarettes. You just walk over the cooler, grab one of these. You're in and out in a minute.
So
hey, William.
Go ahead. You go first.
Do you know where Lumberton is?
Yes.
That's where I was staying for about 4 days.
That's a lot of Native Americans live in that section.
I didn't see any Native Americans.
The Lumbee Indian tribe was very strong in that area, and there's still a lot of Native Americans in that area. Well, it's more in the probably the eastern part of the state.
William, what I was going to ask you is the peach 2-1 note in order for it to be balanced.
It has a sort of a Jolly Rancher type.
Okay. All right. So you're getting just all peach.
You're not going to mistake this for a fresh peach off a tree.
Okay. So it's artificial a little bit.
It is. It's quite artificial. It is what it is. If you drink it for this, I'm enjoying it.
Now,
I have a sweet
on the
tooth.
label, does it say artificial or natural? Does it say artificial or natural flavors?
Oh, I'll grab it when I get my next pour on it. But I think it's both natural. But I did a taste test between the pineapple bull and the Steel Reserve Alloy Series pineapple. I would shop for them, and they're both pretty much the same price, so it was a wash. They tasted very similar. One was a little bit darker in appearance than the other one, but you're dealing with the same ingredients. It can't be much different. I mean, these are certainly not complex products. They're just, like I said, it's an alcohol delivery system for someone who likes sweet soda. That's why they call them alco pops. But there's like I mentioned with the White Claw, there's a market for these products.
Oh yeah, White Claw has a big market.
A huge market, in fact.
Like I mentioned earlier,
I'm not saying that for a fact. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, it is. They really revolutionized. All the major brands are having these seltzers now.
There was a headline in the Daily Beast late last year said, "How in the hell is White Claw hard seltzer outselling Budweiser?" And the sales were up 250 to 300% last year, 2019.
Is it outselling Budweiser?
Yes.
What? Wow. Wow. Even Bud Light?
Now, William, you said you have a sweet tooth?
I mean, I like sweets.
Yeah, me too.
And, so I'm not ashamed to say it. I like desserts. So I can drink just what it is. I don't have to rag on it because people know anything about it, the product, they know what it is. So I'll drink it. I'm not expecting anything other than what I'm getting right now. I'm thirsty. I want something to drink. And if you get a little buzz on the side, that's fine too. So, I mean,
I find it ironic. I find it ironic when you get the beer snobs that will say, "Oh, I would never drink that Schlitz Brass Bull Peach. It has artificial flavorings and colorings in it." And then they say, "Well, I've got to leave now. I'm going to my nephew's birthday party." And then they'll go over there and eat birthday cake with artificially colored and flavored icing. And
well, you see, Ron, they're beer snobs. They're not cake snobs.
Oh, that's a difference.
I saw a review by Darwin's Beer Review. He did the Pabst hard coffee, and he said, "What the heck?" He said, "I like it." Then he made a point that some of these people who criticize, these products for having all these additives, a lot of these craft beers have a lot of stuff added to them too.
That's right.
You don't get triple Imperial Stout Devil's Food Cake without something added to it. So, I thought he made a good point there. And being in all honesty, people that like craft beer can understand that, there is some hypocrisy on both sides of it.
That's right. If you say it, then if you say it, then they say you're a shill for the big companies.
Yeah, to point out that there are inconsistencies. I mean, a lot of craft beer use adjunct. They like to use oatmeal. It adds a creamy texture to the beer, stuff. But that's fine. But yet, if a macro lager wants to add a corn or a rice, it makes it trash.
Yeah, what is your channel name, William?
What's the ABV ? But this is a product of City Brewing. This isn't done by Molson Coors.
Oh, City. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they do a lot of contract brewing.
Yeah.
If I see it, I'll buy it. If I see it, I'm on that, like white on rice.
Which I mentioned on a hangout a few weeks ago that by 2024, City Brewing will be doing all of Pabst stuff. They're going through their now with Molson Coors, and by 2024, they will be doing all of it. So they better get their game. They better step their game up.
Oh, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it after the next 4 years.
2024, it will be all City Brewing, which they have three large operations in Wisconsin, Memphis, Tennessee, and in New York. So they definitely have the capacity to do it.
Yeah, they can make a killing off of that.
They will. But the divorce has been finalized, and they're it's a gradual withdrawal, but between the two parties, and so you'll be seeing that City Brewing code dates on the cans in a few years.
You know what I thought was an interesting topic too, William? Was all the localized beer laws around the whole country.
Oh, wow, that's a whole nother.
But I mean, if we have a panel of different people from different states, they can at least speak about their own experience.
It's interesting. Just general
that's a good topic.
The difference in laws. It's
And I guess it wouldn't just be the laws. You can talk about the taxes too, because each locality has their own taxes.
Like in North Carolina, we have the state-controlled ABC system for liquor. On the website, it tells you, it breaks down the pricing. 30% is excise tax.
Yeah. It's the same for cigarettes and gas. I think those are the three biggest excise taxes.
If you add all the markups together, it's about 88%. Throw in taxes, and you're basically paying double for the product. So if you pick up a bottle of whiskey for $25, it costs them about $12.50.
Yeah.
That's the way it breaks down.
They say excise taxes are sin taxes.
Yeah.
So they tax you on things that they don't want you to do.
That's why the brewers like to push these parts, because the taxes are much less. This falls in the category of a beer. The taxation is much less than it is on spirits and wine. So that's another advantage to push these products.
Mm-hmm.
William, are we going to go around and give our ratings?
Yes, it's time for we'll do the ratings now. Jay, start with you.
Okay. Yeah, I hear some feedback, unfortunately. Well, before I give my rating, I'll show this real fast because I'm running out of time. I did a review of this today. It'll be posted in about a week. It's called Albertsons Silver Rum, and it's from the United States Virgin Islands. I don't think it's being produced anymore. It's was produced for the Albertsons grocery chain. But since Albertsons got merged with so many other grocery chains, they wanted
I've heard of Albertsons.
If you're in Florida, Ronnie, you should be able to find them.
Yeah, it's a huge company, but it's actually owned by another company. And so if you ever see Jewel Osco, Amigos, I can't even remember. It's like probably 20 different grocery chains. But anyway, since it became this one big empire, they wanted to probably get rid of Albertsons only brand, because you can't sell this at another store, right? So they came up with a new thing called King Square rum, which they can sell across all their grocery store chains. But they must have had a huge backstock of this. So I bought this bottle. It was only $2.99. $2.99 for this 375. I figured, what the heck? And I did a review today before I came on to this, and I was shocked. The video is a bit long. In about a week when I post it, people are probably not going to want to watch it. But I was stunned because I thought you would think if it's a private label for a grocery store chain, it's going to be the worst trash on earth. But it isn't so. It isn't so.
There are people who still call that a pint that do reviews online.
A pint, okay.
They still call that a pint. It's only 12.7 ounces.
Oh yeah, a pint is 16, right?
Wake up! They began changing over in 1979 to the metric system.
Right.
They're still calling it a pint. I wish it was a pint. It's not a pint. It's 12.7 ounces. Get with it.
But that was an interesting product, and I was fascinated by it, especially with the price point. But anyway, all for that. I just wanted to. I'm going to give it a score. The Old English. Well, it's been on the market since 1964, and in fact, really before that, probably the 1930s, because it was called Ruff's Old English Stout Malt Liquor. But I like it a lot. For a regular old beer, they were really hitting all their points on it. I think Molson Coors does a great job. And I would be has 90, so it's somewhere at, but I'd have to really think about it. I'll say William likes a definitive number. Let's say 90. I mean, Michael likes a definitive number. I don't know why I said William.
Okay, 90 is fine.
And one thing, you can give a pretty good score because as a reference point, you drink a lot of malt liquors, which is another factor in beer reviewing is that you have a reference. The more you drink, the more you have. It's like people that review movies.
The more you drink, the more you know.
The more you know, so it lends more credibility to it. The fact that other people might not like it, but they can't say you don't know what you're talking about.
The other people might have tried it once or twice, and they say they hate it.
There's some categories of I haven't drank enough of them to really know. So I say I don't know. I just tell you if I like it or don't like it. But as far as reviewing it, I'm not qualified to do that because I don't have a frame of reference. I don't have a baseline of a certain. Okay, this product, thumbs up, thumbs down. Usually, you drink enough, you'll pick out one product, and that'll be your baseline. It's sort of like the divide between thumbs up and thumbs down, and you can base everything else off of that. So some styles I haven't drank enough of them to be able to determine that. But
anyway, for malt liquor, I started drinking those in 1996. So I got 24 years of pretty regular drinking with it, so I can give a good a pretty decent rundown of it. Like with stout, I started drinking Guinness and Murphy's Stout in 1996 also, so I kind of know what stouts are supposed to taste like just from experience, not from being some great expert or anything. All right, that's it. I know Michael wants to give his score.
Okay, I'm going to give the G Night.
Good night.
96.
Good night. That's what it is.
If you have too many, you'll be saying good night. But
that's a wonderful score.
It's really good, and it's among the better Imperial Red Ales I've ever had.
Yeah,
I have had others. I'm trying to think of other brewers that make red ales that are in that kind of alcohol. 8.7 is pretty heavy duty, but I've had other ones, and this is extremely good. I know on Beer Advocate it's like a 92, and on Rate Beer it was like a 99. The only problem with those ratings are based on all the reviews they have. You get people who love it and people who don't like it so much. In order for it to be 99, though, it has to be pretty much, almost everybody at least liked it.
Yeah, right.
Or they have a whole lot of views, a whole lot of people voting.
What they have is a mean average where they throw all the scores together and divide it by the number of reviews, where there's a median average where there's a number above a certain below. Sometimes that's more.
But they're also William giving it 99 by style too on Rate Beer, which means it's a little bit above whatever the rating is. So I would recommend this, but I would not recommend this for a novice drinker. So in other words, if you're just starting out in craft beer, this shouldn't be the first one you try.
Yeah, because I know what they're going to say about it. As soon as they try it, I can tell you what they're going to say about it.
Too bitter?
No, they're going to. I'm not going to say what. I'm not going to say what they're going to say, but I know what they're going to say.
They're going to find it too intense, I think.
Michael, in general,
60 IBUs is bitter, but it's not a palate wrecker kind of bitterness. But it's bitter.
Yeah,
you can taste the bitterness in this. But look, I've been drinking this type beer for a long time. Some people now, when they review some of these older line beers, after you've had all these New England IPAs and stuff, they don't want to like this because it's like old style, if you know what I mean. I can relate to this.
Yeah.
Grandpa beer.
It's like
beer.
really craft beer drinker drink kind of thing.
Before I get off the air, William, I want to hear what you and Ronnie Rio say, but I can't stay on for another couple of minutes. I'm sorry.
I have to get off at 8 o'clock also. So you guys give us your ratings.
All right, my rating is a 95 in the style. I'll give it a 91 overall.
Okay.
It's fair. That's very, very fair.
And hey, real quick, William, can you post the link to your channel in the IBRG chat? Because a few people in there saying that they can't find it.
I put it in the chat.
No, not the StreamYard. The link to your actual YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a link yet because this is the first one I've done. So I'll be able to do it after this, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Just
Okay.
put it in Beer Talk. Put it in International Beer Review.
This will be the first one that actually people can see. I did a couple of private ones just for testing, but this is the first one that will be actually out there, so then I can send a link for that.
Yeah,
right.
Somewhere.
I'd like to sub to you too if you're gonna do more stuff.
Yeah, put it in Beer Talk. Put it in Beer Talk and put it in International Beer Review Guild, and then we'll all subscribe in that.
Okay. But I had to start somewhere. You know, you can do single ones, private or unlisted, but to do this, you got to go live and take your chances.
Right.
You know,
right.
And but Michael asked you about. I take interest in the beers produced here in the state. Oscar Blues has a brewery in Brevard, North Carolina, near the Asheville area. How would you rate this beer, or in general, have you enjoyed the products from Oscar Blues?
I have. This I like the Dale's Pale, which is their.
That's one of my go-to.
And I've had the regular 1050, but I haven't had the barrel aged version. But I'd love to have access to the barrel aged version.
Oh, it's a great one.
I haven't seen it.
It's great.
But they have other decent beers too. They have a Can of Bliss series with a tropical and a couple of other varieties, which are all very good. Yeah. I've been told to go to the brewery in Brevard that they really did a nice job on it as far as visiting, but it's a long way from here.
Yeah,
because it's all the way in western North Carolina, and how's it about 25 miles from Nashville?
That's a beautiful section. There's a lot of retirement people that go live in Brevard area. In the summer, the temperature is about 75 degrees. Nice little breeze.
In the summer?
It's a great place in the state, and obviously, but the water is good there because you can see the amount of breweries that have popped up in the area.
It's in the mountains, Ronnie, of North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
It's
a little colder.
The state.
Yeah, it's up in high elevation. What do you score yours, William? Because I got to get off of this.
Okay, for scoring this, it's a little problematic. I have drank some of the other ones. I'll just say that I enjoyed it, and say that
Michael ain't gonna like that.
William will give me a phony number. I'll accept it.
Okay, I'll give you a number.
I don't care.
3 out of 5. That would be
he's to his rating scale now.
3 out of 5.
Okay. And where's that on a 2-number scale?
A 60 out of 100.
No, he's not going to give it a 60. Are you going to give it a 60?
Okay. Here's another thing to get into. Is how people perceive ratings. 60 is more than half.
No, I agree, but it's weighted.
If you start your ratings at 80 to 100, everything below that's going to be trash.
Right, William, but if the scale is rated up, and we're assuming the products we're trying are better than average. Now, yours, I don't know, is your product better than average?
Okay, I will grade it then on the scale. I'll bump that up to an 80.
Okay, so that would be, Ron, and yours, that would be a C.
Right.
A B minus. 80 would be a B minus.
Okay.
So that's an 80 with a little bit of pulling your arm on it.
Marginally, no, because when I give an 80, I'll say it's marginally good.
No, not you, William. He went from a 60 to an 80.
Yeah, well, he was using a Taco Bell paradigm.
In a presidential election,
thank you for hosting. I got to take off. We'll see you in the future, Ronnie. You too, Jay. Everybody, take care.
All right, guys.
I appreciate you coming, Mark. You know, in a presidential election, 60% would be a mandate.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's interesting how we perceive things.
But if you're eating Church's chicken at 55, you would vomit it up.
Yeah, or you want to do a YouTube video saying how Church's sucks. Anyway, it's all perception, and to realize that the old saying is the more you know, the more you don't know.
Right.
So try to keep that in. It's a good perspective on life. But
I like that one.
That's right, and people can get really bent out of shape over these things.
I'm not getting bent. What I've went through, I'm not getting bent out of shape over that. There's one thing about illness; it remarkably focuses you on what's important.
Right.
your priorities come into sharp focus when your life is on the line.
Sure.
You would hope so, at least.
I would hope, yeah. But anyway, I think we'll wrap this thing up now. So the first track.
I hope you do more of these things with the special topics. I thought it was a cool idea.
Well, yeah, it's things that just I guess I just ruminate with about a lot of useless things in my mind. But
yeah, well, that's all right. Useless things are, especially when you're drinking beer.
I thought, I'm just observing what I see online in places.
Yeah, right. I think about these things all day long. When I was cutting my grass today, I was thinking about some of that stuff. So I think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, it only, people don't utilize the tools available on Google search and things. I mean, all this stuff is available.
Thank you. It doesn't take
that long. You can find out things pretty quickly.
I like Wikipedia myself. I know Ron says it's good because it has the citations that you can go look up.
Right, and they'll call it out if it doesn't. They'll say this has no source.
What's interesting, the fact that the beer laws derived from the Civil War.
That is interesting.
Divided the country.
Yeah, that's
and basically the system they set up at the end of the war is the same system we have in place today.
That's something. That is really something.
And then about the flavor malt beverages, the fact that it's a malt beverage and they remove every character of a malt. Like I say, a lawyer would go to town on that.
Well, all they want is debate. They only want the base, like that fascinating article I read on the Trader Joe's Fearless Flyer. They said they only want the base. They don't care about malt.
When there's no malt character present, I asked the jury.
The substance.
Yeah.
Substance. And I have been getting so many of these flavored malt beverages. It is, like you said, unbelievable everywhere you turn. And get ready, folks, because I have these MXD beers coming up. I bought them in Lake Charles.
I tried one of those, Ron.
I saw that. The MXD, the margarita, right?
The one I had, it wasn't a margarita.
Oh, strawberry daiquiri?
I think it was the strawberry. Yeah. It was red.
Have you seen the mixed tails, like the cocktails?
I've seen Ron do those. I've never tried it.
There's one that has a picture of a motorcycle, which got my.
No, I've not gotten mixed tails. I've gotten the original club tails. All right, well,
you're right. It's the club tails. I gotta get the blue one just because it had a motorcycle on the can. But
the one I had, it was like an animal with sunglasses. Do you remember which one that?
The MXD, the mixed from.
Do you know which flavor it was?
Well, there's 4 flavors. There's the green label, the red label, the orange label, and the yellow label.
I think it was a red label.
Just get on. Yeah, it was strawberry daiquiri. Yeah. All right. Well, I got to go, William and Ronnie.
Okay. We'll wrap this thing up now, and I thank all of you coming. And,
okay.
We'll wrap it up here.
You're welcome. And y'all have a good, safe night.
Till next time, bottoms up and no spills.
No spills.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, William.